You're watching the History Fella channel. In this video we're looking at the Battle of Cedar Creek. As the Civil War entered its third year, Lieutenant General Ulysses S. Grant's overall strategy to defeat the South would be through conquest and the policy of a scorched earth, destroying the South's means to a fight on. Grant embraced the concept of total war and had devised campaigns for both the eastern and western theatres. Major General William C. Sherman would create havoc through the heart of the Confederacy on his march to the sea, and in the breadbasket of the Northern Virginia, Major General Franz Sigel was to sweep through the Shenandoah Valley. However, Sigel's stuttering performance against weaker opponents and the appearance of a new formation dispatched by Robert E. Lee of the Army of the Valley led to a change of tactics by Washington. The new Confederate formation of 22,000 men was Lee's old Second Corps from the Army of Northern Virginia, and commanded by Lieutenant General Jubal Early, a veteran of the Eastern Theatre. It would prove to be the last Confederate invasion of the North, which, like others before it, traversed up through the roads of the Shenandoah towards Pennsylvania and Maryland. Although hungry and poorly equipped, Early's forces were ordered to stay active, progress through Washington, and distract Grant to dilute his army surrounding Petersburg to defend Washington. A Confederate force reported to be close to the capital had already sent the local population into a stir of anxiety. Grant allocated more forces to track down Early's columns, engage them, and slow his route to the march, which they did, buying time for Washington's defensive works to be improved and manned with more troops. But the threat of Early, still at large, needed to be stamped out once and for all. And so Grant turned to a man who was ruthless in battle as he was, his commander of cavalry for the Army of the Potomac, Major General Philip H. Sheridan. Through September and October, Sheridan's 32,000-man Army of the Shenandoah won victories over Early's increasingly demoralized ragtag army. Satisfied that their quarry, now on the retreat, the Union Army began the systematic destruction of a 75-mile swathe of the Shenandoah Valley, burning barns, crops, wagons, and farm machinery to cripple the local agricultural economy. Confident the campaign was coming to an end, Sheridan camped his forces north of Cedar Creek before travelling to Washington, D.C. for new orders. His army reduced now to 14,000 men. Early and his commandos devised a daring plan to seize the initiative and destroy Union forces in camp, with the hope of actually capturing Sheridan himself. Unaware that he had departed, they ordered an all-night march along the base of the valley, in some places his men marching single file and fording 2 river crossings. Early's men advanced out of a dense fog in the pre-dawn hours of October the 19th to catch the Federals completely unawares. The Confederate assault overran one Union corps after another, as their lines collapsed and drove past the Belle Grove plantation. The Union 6th Corps, furthest away from the line of attack, was able to offer stiffer resistance, making a determined stand for a crucial hour, before hastily erected stone barricades in the Middletown Cemetery. Nevertheless, a stunned Union army was in full retreat by 10 a.m. At this critical hour, Early lost his focus, believing he had his enemies where he wanted them, and ignoring the urgings of the subordinate officers to press the assault and achieve total destruction of the enemy forces, he sought instead to secure captured Union cannon and prisoners, while his tough soldiers solidified their final line just north of Middletown. Fatally for the Southerners, exhaustion combined with men falling out to loot captured Union encampments severely reduced their already small number. By now only a mile separated the two armies. As the rebels pillaged the Union tents, Sheridan came galloping back from Winchester with a retinue of 300 cavalrymen, unaware of the true picture of the morning's disaster, believing the sound of distant artillery was a local skirmish. Upon hearing the growing sounds of battle and streams of his men passing before him, he rode hard to the field, rallying his defeated forces, who, turning back, chanted his name. He wheeled back in the saddle and shouted, "God damn you, don't cheer me, fight!" Then ordered his revitalized troops to reform their lines and counterattack in force to sweep the distracted Confederates from the field. Early's army was shattered, and the Union now owned the Shenandoah Valley. The victory gave the Northern public a morale boost and helped Lincoln achieve a landslide presidential victory 3 weeks later. If you've enjoyed the video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Other than that, thank you very much for watching and listening to this video. I'll see you next time.